This little video series is called Dying Dor's Way, Radically Real Spiels on the End of Life. I'm here with my friend Nancy Scott, who is a licensed marriage and family counselor. Therapist, and she's making me do this video on staying connected, and I think it's a really good idea.
So it's called Staying Connected While You're Disconnecting.
Right.
So I was thinking a lot about how when you and I first started talking about your diagnosis, and one of the things was how to stay connected to your family. And we took a road trip up to Massachusetts.
Yep.
And at that point, you already were having your lung drained. So we had to take extra equipment.
Right. She's a nurse too, so.
And unbeknownst to you, I knew every hospital all along the route, just in case. And had watched the video on how to do it and everything else. So part of it was going up to see your son Max and Emily and your grandson and Claire, who came, but also to see their garden.
Yes, well, that's a very important connecting point for me is what trees and shrubs and vegetables can I take out of the garden here and get them established up there? Yeah.
So part of your legacy in terms of staying connected. And then other ways in which we started to look at how do you stay connected to your children. We did lava bracelets.
We made lava bracelets.
So to stay connected to the people that you love.
That's right. You can put essential oils on them and they smell good.
Yeah. And then we also did the photo frame. So that, and actually I called your kids ahead of time.
Digital photo frame, brilliant.
So that they could send photos of Daniel and you get to see him in his, Halloween costume or his new thing that he's learned to do. So other ways in which people stay connected.
Right.
So I think that there are lots of opportunities, and it's really important to sort of honor as your needs change what it is that you want from people. You've been so good in terms of the video series. It's been amazing watching them. And even as I was driving over, I thought, is there one I haven't seen that she's doing right now as I'm driving over? So I think that's an important piece is honoring the person that's dying and respecting what they need, because it may not be what people want to give you.
Right. And it's also difficult to anticipate what I'm going to want. It might not be the connection that I need that's what I feel like having. There's something sort of isolating for me about the pain. As the pain increases, it's like, I just want to be left alone. I don't want any stimulation, less light, less noise, don't touch me. And that's not very good for staying connected with people. So it helps me. What helps me a lot is when people like the hospice doctor and Nancy say things like, but Dorothy, you're doing us a service if you let us help take care of you. And that's really important for me because, if you can phrase it that way, reframe it, I'm doing them a service, Maybe then I'll be more likely to.
Maybe I'll cooperate if I can be of service.
Maybe I'll cooperate a little bit more, yeah.
But I think that's an essential piece. One of the things that we were just talking about was, even though this is a series about dying, it's really a series about living and how we live life and to be present with people and to pay attention.
Yeah, and this comes around and around in so many of the videos that I'm doing now that the solo ones are done and I'm doing mostly interviews. It keeps on coming around to these non-specific things that we do in our life that are actually very good death preparation, but they aren't targeted death preparation. It's just really, as you say, all about how you live is how you die. And, the way that I would like you to be very informed starting right now that the best dying doesn't come from necessarily having that German notebook with all of the sections, although that's very important too. The acceptance and the ease and the capacity to stay connected to people is really about how you live before you start thinking about dying or having a terminal diagnosis. So
there's a wonderful story called The Secret of the Elders, and it's about these three women that have lived into their 90s, and their grandchild who's looking at them saying, I just don't know how they are so full of life. And part of it is the one wakes up and is like, oh, what a glorious day. Look at that sun. Oh my gosh. And I was thinking about what you just said. Look at that red cardinal outside the window. Oh, he's,
important things are going on out there right now.
Absolutely. And if you can appreciate those moments, the miracles that we have in our lives on a daily basis, whether it be just sunshine or a cool breeze or just being present, nature always brings us back to, living a good life, feeling it. And one of the things you said is, I loved when you said, if people could put a hand on your heart, is it okay if I do that right now? I want
my
your
heart
permission.
and my tumor.
It's so important to be able to honor your heart, which is, you've given so much. And I love the opportunity to be with you and to be creative with you. And you've just done such great work with all of these wonderful, wonderful people that you've interviewed with. So,
well, something about it is catching. I mean, people, once they get the idea that we're participating in this series as a community, and now people are coming and doing interviews, they're bringing their own ideas and questions, like, could you please do a video about staying connected, for example, or could you please do one on the difference between palliative and hospice care? That was another that came from a request. And one of the things that surprised me is, could you please sleep with my jewelry? Could you please take this meditation stone and put it under your pillow or next to your heart while you're sleeping for the next week? Because there are a lot of people who know that they're going to be communicating with me after I die, and somehow having something to rub
Tangible.
or wear, something in the physical world. So we ordered angel aura quartz meditation stones that I am now sleeping with, so that it helps. The physicality of it helps with the connection.
And I think the other piece of that connection is there many people believe that we are really one consciousness. We're this total energy that we all go back to. So being that energy is just a wonderful part of life, and staying connected. And I think, if anything, you've planted so many seeds, both literally and figuratively.
Very good analogy.
And that they will be prolific.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Love you.